Level 1. The screening candidate. You are somewhere in the mountains of West Virginia, and you have no idea how much longer this will last. Nobody told you when the long walk ends. You got a grid coordinate on a map and a compass, and you started walking. That was 2 days ago. Your boots have been wet since the first night. There's a stress fracture forming in your left shin that you will not acknowledge until this is over, if it ever ends. 2 men sat down on the side of a trail yesterday and did not get back up. The column kept moving without a word. Out of the 120 men who started, somewhere between 10 and 14 will finish. You do not know this yet. If you wash out here, you go back to your unit. No one tells you why. You spend the rest of your career wondering what you were missing. You keep walking. Level 2. The OTC Trainee. You pass selection. You are now in the operator training course, and you can still be sent home. 6 months at Fort Bragg. Close quarters combat, weapons you have never touched before, explosives, driving techniques, foreign language, and survival training that involves being hooded, stripped down, left in a cold room until your body starts making decisions your mind did not authorize. Roughly half the men who pass selection do not finish the course. One day they are at breakfast, the next day their bunk is empty. When the course ends, there's no graduation. A senior operator calls you into an office, shakes your hand, tells you which squadron you are assigned to. You walk out, and that afternoon you are operational. That is all. Level 3. The operator. You are assigned to a squadron, and for the first time in your military career, nobody is watching over your shoulder. You raid houses at 2 in the morning in cities whose names you cannot say in phone calls home. You move through rooms with men who are so quiet that your own breathing starts to seem too loud. When things go wrong, you adapt because there's no one to ask and no time to ask them. You are sheep-dipped now. That is the term for what you are. Officially, your records show something that is not quite true. Your neighbors think you do logistics work. Your wife has stopped asking follow-up questions about where you go. You want to move to the sniper cell. You have started making it known, quietly, the way everything in this unit is done. Not by asking loudly, but by being the person already doing the work before anyone assigns it. Level 4. The sniper candidate. The course is 6 weeks at Fort Bragg, and on the first day the instructor tells you the only thing that matters. You must hit a human-sized target with your first shot from a cold barrel at whatever range the target appears. Not your second shot, your first. You spend 2 weeks learning what your rifle actually does. Not what the manual says, but what your specific barrel, your specific ammunition, your specific trigger does on a cold morning when the metal has been sitting in shade for 4 hours. You build what they call a dope book, a personal record of every variable you have tested, every wind call and temperature reading, and the exact impact it produced. If you lose that book, you lose the thing that makes you precise rather than merely accurate. The stalking exercise happens on a hillside. You cover 800 meters on your stomach, moving through grass and brush while 2 instructors scan the terrain with optics. You have to reach a firing position, take 2 simulated shots, and get out without being seen. The first time, an instructor spots you at 300 meters because a piece of your ghillie suit caught the light wrong. You go back to the start, get detected 3 times total, and you are off the course. Passing SOTIC is not enough to enter the sniper cell. Delta runs its own evaluation after patience tests, observation reporting, things that cannot be graded on a range. You pass all of it, your name appears on a list that very few people have ever seen. Level 5, the precision sniper. You are lying face down in a shallow depression in the dirt outside Mosul, and you have not moved in 31 hours. Your legs went numb somewhere around hour 18. Your lower back carries a deep ache that has no specific location. Through the scope, 1,100 meters away, a man is drinking tea on a rooftop. You know his name. You know the voice on the intercepted calls that identified him. You know he ordered the deaths of 4 people 8 days ago. You're waiting for him to stand up and give you a clean sight picture. That is your entire job right now, waiting. When the shot comes, the sequence takes less than 2 seconds. The cold bore differential is already accounted for in your scope. The wind has been consistent for the past 40 minutes. The man stands. You make 1 mil adjustment for the crosswind. You exhale slowly. The trigger breaks clean. You confirm the kill through the optic. The image stays, not the shot, the confirmation. The moment the heat signature on the thermal disappears, that image goes somewhere in your memory that does not respond to the instruction to stop thinking about it. The first time you pulled a trigger, your hand trembled slightly. You noticed it. You accepted it as normal. What concerns you now, years later, is that your hand no longer trembles. You noticed that too at the dinner table 3 hours after a mission, and you have never mentioned it to anyone. Level 6, the senior sniper. You run a 2-person team now, and every decision about the hide site is yours. You choose the entry point, always at night, always at least 4 hours before the operation window. You choose the position based on terrain and wind. The ghillie suit is built by hand from vegetation gathered the night before. because a commercially made suit has patterns that trained analysts can identify. For 72 hours, neither you nor your spotter makes a sound, generates visible heat, or moves more than a few centimeters. Waste goes into a tube that vents outside the position. Meals are cold. Communication is encrypted text sent every 6 hours. When a Hezbollah observer network is active in the area, and it often is, your position can be identified and reported within 20 minutes of you establishing it. You build the site anyway. Some operations end without a shot fired. 72 hours of absolute stillness, and the target never appears. You break the site, extract in the dark, and debrief with nothing to show except that you held the position correctly. On the drive back, that feels close to nothing, but you know it is not. Level 7, the Squadron Sniper Master. You no longer pull the trigger. You decide who does. Every sniper standard in your squadron runs through you. Qualifications, training cycles, the evaluation criteria that determine whether a candidate enters the cell or goes back to assaulter work. When you pass someone, you're making a decision that will eventually matter in a situation you cannot predict. When you turn someone away, you're making the same decision. You sit in JSOC coordination meetings where targeting packages are reviewed. Intelligence officers present the surveillance data. Legal advisors present the rules of engagement. You are there to answer one question. Is the shot technically possible? Range, angle, conditions, probability of first round success, risk radius to bystanders. You answer accurately. Someone else makes the call. An operation you supported results in a civilian death alongside the intended target. It goes into a classified file. The investigation runs for months and clears everyone involved because the intelligence was valid at the time. That finding is also classified. You carry the file in a part of your mind that runs alongside everything else. It does not interfere with your work. That is what concerns you most about it. Level 8, the SMU Advisor. Your name does not appear in any document you are aware of. Your security clearance level has a name that is itself classified. You attend briefings that connect through several layers of institutional structure to decision trees that reach the situation room. When you speak in those rooms, you're providing a technical assessment of whether something is operationally achievable. The people who receive that assessment make choices based on it, and those choices have outcomes, and you will never see most of those outcomes. The Deir ez-Zor engagement in February 2018. Wagner Group mercenaries attacking a position held by US forces and Kurdish fighters. A 4-hour fight. Air assets, artillery, direct fire. Estimated 200 Wagner personnel killed in a single night. The Russian government acknowledged 5 deaths. The American government said as little as possible. Both had reasons to keep the numbers quiet. The men who were there are not allowed to describe what happened in any detail. The institutional record contains as little as possible. The people involved carry the full weight of it in private. You look in the mirror in the morning and you recognize the face. Working out who is behind it takes a moment longer than it used to. Level 9, the ghost you separate from the military on a Tuesday. There's no ceremony. A week later, a contractor firm makes an offer that is approximately 8 times your military salary to do work that is not significantly different from what you were doing before, but with a different employer listed on documents that very few people will ever read. The pension from 20 years of service is $23,000 a year. The contractor offer is $210,000. You understand why people take the offer. You also understand that taking it means the machine does not stop. It just changes the name on your badge. At a neighbor's barbecue, someone asks what you did in the military. You say logistics. You look at your drink. The conversation moves on. The person asking does not notice that you gave them the only answer that exists in the unclassified world. At 3 in the morning, you stand at the window, not watching for anything specific, just standing there the way you stood watch in positions that no longer exist, watching targets who are no longer alive, in a unit that officially does not exist. You're not unhappy. You're not broken. You're carrying something that has no name in the language available to you, in a country that does not officially know what you did. In the mountains of West Virginia right now, a new class of 120 men is walking. It is raining. Most of them are already cold. They do not know when the walk ends. They do not know that only 12 of them will finish. They are just walking because stopping means going back, and going back is the only outcome they have decided is unacceptable. They do not know what finishing costs. They just know they will not stop. The machine did not stop, it just replaced a part.